booty, man a big booty, bitch, man a big booty, man a big booty, man a big booty, man a big booty, bitch.
Fucking booty bitches every day. Can't see a thing without seeing my way. Fucking booty bitches every other day. Fake booty bitches with their ass in my face. Fucking booty
Oh
bitches.
my, what a song to start things off today. Griff Parker coming in hot. joshpottershow at gmail.com is where you can send in things, folks, whether they be songs or articles. Roach reporters out there scurrying about. I got to let you know, tickets that are on sale now are for the fall and the end of the year. We're going to get some things filled in. Things are going to be announced, and then the ticket links will go on sale for those. But right now, it's October 20th over in SoulJoel's in Pennsylvania. 2 shows there. Also, down the road, we got La Jolla Comedy Store December 1st through 3rd, and Side Splitters around Christmas time in Tampa Bay. Those are on sale right now. We have some that are going to be announced that'll be sooner than that, some that'll be amongst that. So make sure you go over to the Instagram at Josh_Potter or the Twitter at J_Potter. Click the links in the bio, and you'll be all set. Today, a wonderful guest inside of the Roach Motel, perhaps one of my favorites. It's Dr. Drew, everybody.
Wow. Happy to be here, Josh. I'm glad I'm still one of your favorites. Last time I saw you, I was sticking a probe up your abscess.
Well, you know, of course that makes you one of my favorites. Why wouldn't it?
I mean, it was pretty miserable. First time I didn't numb you up quite enough either.
Well,
Remember
that one hurt. That one sucked a little bit,
Yeah.
but since then, you know, I mean, you gave me a checkup. You made sure that my doctor was doing all the right
This
things.
Your neck thing.
Was that the neck thing? Oh, yes, it was actually, yes. But I got to go to your real office.
Yes, you did. I appreciated you coming in, all schlepping out for that. Speaking of your real office, this is fantastic.
You like it here? I think it's great, yeah.
It's well done. I see why you left that shithole your mom's house.
Well, I got to tell you, this is the first time we've had you on the show since we've left, and it wasn't like this the whole time.
What? I'm shocked.
Well,
you guys have your act together.
It's
I mean, people don't appreciate it. There's quite a team here doing an excellent job. And then you had somebody write a theme song about your life. I mean, that was amazing. That's the John. When I think of Josh, I think of themes, like lyrics like that.
Well, me too. I do as well. I mean, it's been a long road, you and I. We've had, longer than I would even imagine you know.
What do you mean?
But I used to board op Loveline back in the day. Did you know that?
Did you not tell me that?
I think I did back in when I first met you. But it's something that it probably didn't register. You know?
It did not register.
But yeah, in a local affiliate, I would.
Oh, you did tell me that. I thought you meant you came in and did our board in Los Angeles.
No. You never met me.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
I think I engineered some you guys did local drops and things like that where you would say, and you're listening to Loveline on 103.3 The Edge. I think I board opped one of those sessions one time.
The Edge. You're at the Edge?
103.3 The Edge in Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
Buffalo and Toronto.
I was going to see if I could figure out where that was.
Yeah. Sorry, I spoiled it. But it was
there were
my
a lot of
first
edges,
job.
a lot of edges, points, K-Rocks.
Yep.
Zoos. There's a lot
it's
of
It's
those.
like Starbucks. Once they put one, they're like, let's just brand this in every market.
Yeah.
But the Loveline days, they were fun. I got to sit there and listen to all the stuff. I even called in about delayed ejaculation, like so many others at one point.
And did we help?
I think you said, I don't want to take another delayed ejaculation call.
Well, not only that was kind of a loaded question because I knew I didn't help because fast forward however many years, we were still talking about it.
No, you definitely were like, I don't know. I remember specifically, I think you were like, oh, we're not taking, I don't know who your producer was or whatever, but I think you said to them, they're like, I'm not taking another delayed ejaculation call.
I said that out loud?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, it was something like that where you dismissed it. You're like, just go read about it or something.
Oh, my God. Doesn't sound like me, but okay.
No, it was something. It wasn't as dismissive
was it the
as
Adam
I'm
ears?
making it. Yes.
Yeah.
Or no, it was Mike Catherwood.
Wow, so way up ahead. So
yeah. Because you guys were on our station when I originally got there, and then for whatever reason, I don't know if it's after Adam you guys stopped being syndicated or if it came back around because my company's changed or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, there was a lot of radio was in its decline,
mm-hmm.
and there was a lot of moving around of different companies and different syndication models.
Did you ever think 15 years ago it'd be where it is today?
Well, we didn't know about this kind of thing.
Right.
So there was really no way to imagine it. You could see it was no longer a good business.
Mm-hmm.
You could see it sort of falling apart, and it was kind of a mess. And at the time, we sort of blamed it on, I guess we blamed it kind of on Sirius and sort of satellite radio.
That's what radio blamed it on. I remember that happening. They came in, they were all scared. The world is crumbling because satellite radio is happening, and then Howard Stern made the jump.
Yeah.
But they could have really if they just embraced podcasting.
Well, I was going to say that because the podcasting was already underway by that point. They just didn't know it.
We were doing it I was on a morning show, and we would just put the podcast up on the website, and it was getting so many hits. And we kept saying, like, sell this. And they just had no idea how to do it.
I have a great radio story.
Please. That's what the show's about.
It's an Adam story. He's told it before. I'm going to steal it. But it was so illustrative of how radio management works. And just such I mean, this is not even to criticize the guy who this story is about, I'm not going to use his name, but I'm really not being critical of him because he's not at all unusual for the way radio was managed. So Adam had a morning show here in Los Angeles. Actually, it was syndicated for a while after he left Loveline.
On Free FM, yeah.
On Free FM, exactly. And he had friends who would come in and donate their time. Comedians would do bits every week and come back and just, do stuff. And after some months of that, he gets called in by his management, right? He goes, Adam, stop it. No. This is not radio. Stop it. This guy that comes in and plays clips of reality shows and talk shows up, this guy's never going to amount to anything. This guy, Joel McHale, no. Nothing,
oh, my
nothing.
God.
So get rid of him. The second guy, he's just weird. I don't even understand why you think he's funny. But this guy, Zach Galifianakis, has to go.
Oh, my God.
Third guy, he goes, this guy is just radio death. It's also a name you may have heard, Louis C.K. These are the three guys he has every week on his show and is told by management to get rid of them because they're not funny. So that's how radio works. When our radio's dying, there it is right there.
Yeah, that's exactly true. Yeah. I mean, the fact that management would tell Adam Carolla how to do a radio show is insane.
Josh, the whole time we were working together, that was going on.
Sure.
And and he would scream about this. I don't know if you remember it because he would talk about it on the air. The most consistent feedback he got was, Adam, shut up. Don't talk so much.
They really just try to get their imprint on something, and they want to have some sort of sense of control. I feel like.
And to be fair to these guys, they came out of music. Their music, what do you call it? Music programmers.
Sure.
They were and they were how to do the callbacks and the forwards and the this and the that around music. And
you got to tease at the 45 mark. You got to
And so they had no knowledge about talk. Talk all of a sudden just appeared on FM radio. I remember when that happened too.
Well, it happened. Yeah, I mean, because I was on a show that was 4 hours of talk, and throughout, I mean, they were on for 10 years before I worked there. I started working there in 03, 04, and then I worked on their show up until 2017. But throughout that time, they had earned the cachet of not playing music during the morning show.
Yeah,
4 hours of talk.
I remember this. That was a big deal.
You had to earn that.
Yeah. That was a crazy idea.
Yes, and
Kevin and Bean was forced to play music all the way through.
They had to continue to do that. They had to play 10 songs an hour.
Yep.
And then I remember we would get new programmers every now and then, and they would come in and try and get us to play 10 songs an hour. And it was like, what are you talking about? But I had famously one radio GM that said the most asinine thing to me. It was when Facebook came about, and it was beyond when it was just college kids. This is when it became massive for everybody. And I made a page for the show, and they said, that's our competition. In fact, we're going to block Facebook in the building. You can't go on Facebook in the building.
Yeah, that
I will say that guy's name, Chet. I remember banging my head against the wall at 18 years old.
But that's also that was the perfect mindset for radio.
Yeah.
It was, wall it off.
Yep.
Just protect the kingdom. And that was their error.
I'd imagine you met many legends of broadcasting throughout your tenure.
I suppose I did, yeah.
Any sports guys? I was just curious if I just thought.
I really always wanted to talk to Al Michaels. I never talked to him.
Al Michaels was a big one.
Yeah, because I'd hear him on Stern. I thought, it'd be so interesting to talk to him.
What about Vin Scully?
No, we didn't do that much. Of course, again, that's K-Rock. You got to talk to musicians. So we did a lot of musicians, and they were all sort of lost on me because I don't really like music.
You don't like music?
I mean,
that's like something my mom says.
I don't like, but I mean, I enjoyed music. I was reared on Deep Purple and Yes and What else?
Yeah. Some of the pothead shit.
Yeah, all that shit.
Yeah.
But that was real rock and roll stuff that we were
yeah.
into. And then when the new wave came, I was very interested in that. That's how I actually ended up at K-Rock. Was extremely bored of what was going on here locally with KLOS and KMET. Those were the two. I was like, oh, it's got to be something else. And this station appeared out of nowhere. And it was right across the street from where I lived.
Oh.
And that's how it all happened to me, because people were hanging out together and somebody said, hey, this guy can help out on that late night show. And I was like, what? Do what? And that was it.
Let me guess, you came aboard when rock music became alternative.
Yes.
So
it was called not then, it was called New Wave.
New Wave.
It was called New Wave. And a lot of it was British. It was, Depeche Mode and Haircut 100 and Flock of Seagulls and all that stuff. And K-Rock exploded, became the number one radio station in California, in Los Angeles, the number one radio market in the country, and it just became this force to reckon with.
Yeah, that's like the station I worked at way before I got there, about a decade before I worked there. They had switched from the Fox, which was playing, like Ozzy and like stuff like that. And then they switched over to like alternative, which was like all of a sudden they're playing Tori Amos.
Yeah.
And
that's the 90s already,
yes.
though. I was there in 83.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking. You got there in the 90s.
No,
the 80s,
I started
the
in
new wave.
83.
Okay.
You weren't even born yet.
No, I was 86. But yeah, no, that's seeing that happen, and then all of a sudden it fluctuates back, and they change it again.
And so that's the way music evolves, I guess. And
yeah.
And so I met all these musicians. I didn't know any of them. I didn't know their music. By the time the 90s hit, I'd been living essentially in a hospital for 8 years, and I just didn't know what was going on out in the world. And musicians all seemed to me, I mean this humbly, because some of them are really substantial people and really great people. And I mean, I hesitate to say this because I really have met some friends through talking to these people, but they were friends of mine not because they're great musicians, it's because they were good guys.
Sure.
But it always just seemed to me these were guys that couldn't get laid at 16 and learned to play the guitar, and that was that.
Some comedians like that.
Comedians,
as well.
same thing, and there was always a kind of an antisocial flavor to a lot of the stuff. But that's fine. Back then, antisocial was elevated.
Yeah,
that's sort of what we
counterculture.
Yeah, that was what was elevated. Now I don't know what we're elevated. I can't quite figure it out.
It's the counterculture has gotten strange. It's almost very.
So says Josh. How dare you?
To me, I mean, I would. People would think.
See, somebody young's laughing at you over there. What do you say it is? Is it strange?
As far as what?
What people look up to. It's hard for you to tell right now because when we were in it, I couldn't tell either. I just I liked, what I looked up to. But is there things you look up to?
Well, what's like punk rock right now? And I don't even mean that in a music sense.
Yeah, what's
I mean
the same? What is the punk rock of today? It doesn't have to be music.
It's like,
it
like
be comedians?
Steven Crowder? I mean, what are we talking about? Like that's what I'm saying.
That's a legitimate question.
I know, but it seems so dorky.
Or is it some influencer on TikTok? You know what I mean?
Honestly, I feel like TikTok, like everything is just TikTok right now.
There it is.
I mean,
there it is.
I'm trying to be the counterculture.
I try to avoid. I mean, I'm so into like just what I do with like the podcast stuff that I kind of try to stay off media where I can.
Well, first of all, you got to get Sickler to give you a microphone so you can talk more on the air. That needs to happen.
We're moving out of the studio today, so.
All right.
She might be on that show more. She's gonna blow up all over the place.
That's what I'm saying.
Just one traumatic moment away from being on there. So
that's true.
Whatever happens next.
That's all you're allowed to talk about.
Today's Josh Potter Show is brought to us by DoorDash. Oh boy, no matter where the summer fun takes you, DoorDash is making sure you have amazing food for the journey. With their Dash Pass membership, right now you can get your favorite foods with $0 delivery fees and reduced service fees on all eligible orders. Your Dash Pass even gets you special access for fun members only. Events, chances to win awesome prizes, these types of things. So lots of benefits getting the Dash Pass. And hell, I mean, barbecues are coming about. I just had a picnic sort of situation and we forgot something and I thought, you know what would work? Why don't we just get it DoorDash to us right now? And within a few minutes, boom, it appeared and we didn't have our picnic dilemma. Let's just put it that way. Missing a very key ingredient. So whatever you're craving, DoorDash has you covered, my friend. Right now, you can experience a summer like no other. Make this your best summer yet with a Dash Pass membership from DoorDash today. You can sign up for the Dash Pass now, and you'll get your first month free. Plus, when you use my promo code, you're going to get 50% off up to a $10 value when you spend $15 or more on your next Dash Pass order. Download the DoorDash app right now and enter code JoshPotterSummer. I love that promo code. For the record, it's going to be a Josh Potter summer. Let me tell you right now. That's 50% off when you spend $10 or more on your next Dash Pass order when you download the DoorDash app and enter code Josh Potter Summer. Don't forget the code is Josh Potter Summer for 50% off your next order. Subject to change. Terms apply. One more time because the code has changed for DoorDash. It is Josh Potter Summer. Go get it right now. Today's Josh Potter Show is also brought to us by Rocket Money. Inflation is insane. It's getting nuts out there. Eggs are $300, and we can't afford to be paying for subscriptions that we don't want or need. I actually just did an audit with Rocket Money, and boy, oh boy, there were things that I didn't even realize that I was paying for, things I must have in the middle of the night subscribed to or apps I downloaded that I didn't realize were charging me. It's insane how many people out there have this happen to them. Most Americans think they only spend $80 a month on subscriptions, but the actual total is probably closer to $200 actually. If you're looking to save some cash and cut out some of the unneeded monthly payments, Rocket Money can help. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. I gotta say, I was trying to, tighten the belt a little bit, and this definitely helped save a couple $100 because, like I said, I don't even remember. Years ago, I signed up for something, didn't remember to cancel it, and forgot all about it. I mean, there was a photography app. I'm not a photographer. I thought I'd use it, and I'm getting all these filters every couple of months for, a couple of bucks here and there. I don't need any of that garbage. So Rocket Money sussed it out, found it. Super easy to cancel. So stop throwing away your money, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and manage your expenses the easy way just by going over to rocketmoney.com/Potter. That's rocketmoney.com/Potter. One more time, it's rocketmoney.com/Potter. Well, the reason I brought up broadcasters is because there's one who is very famous. Of course, he's the broadcaster, the play-by-play man of the New York Yankees, and he's going to lead off the sports for us today because we have an update on him. We talked about him last week.
Okay.
Sports theme. Beep, 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 beep. Sports section. Beep, 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 beep. So John Sterling... he just a couple of weeks ago, he was broadcasting a game, and Justin Turner of the Boston Red Sox hit a foul ball. Check it out.
Justin Turner of the Dodgers.
Not any longer.
3-2, swung on, a pop foul back here. Ow! Oh! Ow! Ow! It really hit me. I didn't know it was coming back that far.
So there you have it. He got
He's been
hit
watching
in the face.
balls for his whole career. How did he not know to move? He
That's
was
what we were
watching
saying.
it too.
I think he thought there was glass there.
Although
which
I
is
got to tell you, if you've ever been, I used to play in these. Used to be these celebrity amateur games. Celebrity pro things at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and they had athletes at bat sometimes, and people throwing heat. Some people like Tony Danza. Who knew the guy knows how to throw a ball?
Well, he played in Who's the Boss? He played a fledgling ball player. Didn't he?
He can throw heat.
Yeah,
and I was playing like center field or something, and these balls, and an athlete hit it. I ran back so fast I tripped and fell and tumbled all over the place. But it just looks like the gravity turns off.
Sure.
It really it's very disorienting. I don't know if it's the stadium or how hard these guys hit the ball.
Well, their exit velocity is above 95 miles per hour.
But this wasn't a pro level thing. It was pro athletes hitting the ball. And I could see how you could lose your judgment, with enough time that when it's coming backwards at you, it could hit you. Well,
there's no doubt I would lose it. But a guy who's been broadcasting for decades upon decades, you would think he would.
You would think watching ball.
But I thought, so he got
really whacked him too.
Yes, and he got a what's it called?
Concussion?
A laceration. He had a cut on his face.
Wow.
But he gave us an update because he did finish the game. At the end of it. And so people have been sending in concerned. Yes, you can see it there. That bandage is so, put it to your face, flush to your face, John.
It's weird.
It looks like skin hanging.
No, here's what's happening here. First of all, it would always there's the forehead. I said, it looked
Yes.
like it hit him in the forehead. Why does he have the thing way down by the ear?
That's what I'm saying. What's with the
I think he may have had a
bandage
skin
slap?
cancer removed by his ear at the same time and just calling it. I'm not kidding. I think that's because that kind
Really?
of that tented thing there
Yeah.
looks like he had a Mohs surgery.
Well,
or
that's what I
something.
said, because here he gave us an update. He recently went onto Instagram just a few days later, and he gave us an update, and I'm looking at it. I go, is that just his skin?
No. That's a tent. It's like they're tenting the bandage so it can get air.
Yeah, because it's very concerning even when you're looking at it
Yeah.
here. Let's hear what he
and
says.
again,
Well, first of all,
The
to all
forehead.
the Yankee fans, I am fine. It hit me in the head, a lot of muscle up there, so I was okay. And I thank you for all the warm, wonderful, loving thoughts. But anyway, I'm fine. And as I told Susan was the first when I was driving home. It produced phone calls and texts from all the people who love me. So it really turned out to be a very good thing. But once again, thanks, and I'm 100%, no problem.
Susan, his wife.
I guess so. They still make the man drive home. I mean, golly.
That was my concern too when I heard that.
I don't want John Sterling
He did not
driving
get
in
a
the
concussion.
Bronx.
He did not get a concussion, number one. But number two, he pointed where we saw the ball hit,
Right.
not his ear.
Right.
That is him just taking advantage of seeing the dermatologist or something else they got there at the same time.
So you think he had, I mean, when he got hit with the ball, did he have that tent on his face?
No,
then?
I'm saying they took care of both things. He went
Oh.
in, and they just went, let's, and maybe he, knowing he'd be bandaged, went, hey, why don't we do it at the same time? You've been talking about doing
Hilarious, because, John Sterling, everyone was kind of shocked that he finished the game, but this man finishes the game.
He did not. The frontal forehead area is a thick bone. It's hard to get a concussion up there. So good for him.
But even if he got a concussion, I think he'd finish the game, because this was a man back in 2015. He had an apartment fire, lost everything while he was on his way to the game, went on the air regardless.
I'm not surprised by that. That
He
makes
just
sense
went and
to me.
called the game, and he's like, well, I don't know where I'm sleeping tonight, but
That makes sense to me.
it does?
Yeah.
Because you would do the same thing.
I would, back when I was younger anyway, I'm sure I would have done that.
I mean, if I'm in Idaho doing fucking or like Omaha Funny Bone or some shit, and they're like, your apartment's on fire, I'm not flying home for it. You're right there. But I mean, I don't know if this podcast, if I got a phone call that my apartment's on fire, I guess I'd finish it. We're already 20 minutes in, and what am I going to save?
We
My
all
TV?
there's that one that's pragmatic and that's true, but more importantly, he's let us all know how unimportant we are to him. So just
What's up? I mean,
factor
my
accordingly.
apartment, my life is on fire.
Just everyone, just make note. That's all. Take
okay,
note.
all right. I
I'm
didn't know
saying.
I had to rank it so heartfelt.
Just saying, just so they understand.
Nevertheless, that was our sports segment for today. Not a long sports segment today, because I didn't have sports are done, and I don't know what I'm going to do with myself, Dr. Drew.
Sports are done.
Well, it's July. It's the dog days of summer where NBA,
Oh,
NHL, they're all
there's
done.
there's no meaningful sports.
We're just.
yeah.
I mean, it's meaningful. I love baseball.
no. I mean, there's no playoffs. There's no
Exactly,
It's just
yes.
accumulating wins and losses.
I love when
and stuff.
all the sports are happening.
Yeah. Well,
And
you can start to watch football pretty soon just for fun. I
We
mean,
got 80 days.
Yeah.
80 days.
Till
That's-
football?
Yes.
Is
Till-
that long?
Yes, it's.
I thought they started pushing it until the season, but
Right.
you can watch the other the.
Well, there's only 3 weeks of
exhibition games.
preseason now.
Oh,
They
well.
shortened the length of the
Why'd they do
preseason
that?
because they extended the length of the season.
Oh,
to 18
when's Super Bowl
weeks.
going to be now?
Well, the Super Bowl's still usually in that, second week of February. They didn't change that part of it. They actually moved things up a little bit.
I see.
And they shortened the preseason. So it starts technically at the same time, but
So-
the preseason ends after 3 weeks.
So since I saw you last,
Yes.
I went to the Wadi Rum Desert. I don't think I've talked to you about this.
Mm.
I did a show, you can look it up, called Special Forces.
Oh,
on
yes, I have
Thanks.
not talked to you since you did Special Forces.
Yeah.
Beverly
and-
Mitchell is on there. She was a childhood crush of mine.
Oh, I just texted with Beverly yesterday.
Well, tell her.
So I
The
will.
Roach
if you
says
want her
what's
to,
up.
I'll see if maybe she wants to come in.
I would love that.
She's a good sport.
Her and Jody, because I have inroads to get Jody Sweeten on this program.
Well, Beverly's got 3 kids now, so
yeah, she's married and
yeah.
shit. Whatever.
I met everybody. So the reason I bring it up, and I don't know if you want to show them any footage. There's all kinds of crazy shit we did. It was intense. I ended up in the hospital. 6 of us ended up in the hospital within 3 days.
Well, yeah, you were doing. It was now
It
the
was
premise
literally-
of the show is that you are doing boot camp essentially.
We're essentially special forces training, some
Okay.
form thrust of special forces training by special forces.
Is that like a
trainers.
generic term so they can do an amalgam of all the armed forces training things, or is it just?
You know,
Is that a
I
specific
don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I think it was Navy SEAL is what sort of.
Okay.
But there was 2 British guys and 2 American guys. But one guy from the Bronx was a Navy SEAL. He was the guy I've got to know very well since. And you just see if there's a promo for it. And it was a great group of people. We all got very, very close. That's why I brought it up. I brought it up because Danny Amendola became a good friend.
Oh,
and he's
New England
now,
Patriot.
This is what happened to us. That's another woman that saved my life.
Who's this?
This is Jamie Lynn Spears.
That's
she
her?
literally saved my life. She pulled me into the medic when I was confused and encephalopathic.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, it was bad. So it's in the middle of the desert, 2 hours from anything human, 120 degrees, and antics ensued.
Kate Goslin, she is the eight people?
Yes, Kate or 8.
The 8 kids?
She and I were in hospital beds next to each other.
Was she like, this is nothing, I had 8 children?
No, this was something no matter who you are. This was so Piazza.
Is that Mike Piazza?
Yes, we had a great time. There's him losing consciousness.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Mike is a great guy.
So when you saw these world-class athletes, Hall of Famer like Mike Piazza, Danny Amendola, who is a Super Bowl winner, and I think he...
Nastya Lukin, a gold medalist from the...
Were you concerned when you saw them go down?
When I saw them go down?
Like, did you watch them do the things and go, oh, my Lord, if Danny Amendola can't do it?
No, because those guys did it.
Oh, okay.
They lasted pretty long. What I worried about was me. There's Beverly as your friend. She got her ass handed. Kenya Moore was in there. We all got our ass handed to us.
Nastya Lukin.
Look at this.
Holy hell.
That's the mooch.
The mooch.
Anthony.
Scaramucci. Golly.
Yeah. It was super intense. I hope people can watch this while we're talking about it.
Sure.
Dwight Howard.
Now, is he not the basketball player that slid into Chase O'Donnell's DMs?
You're right. I think you are right.
Interesting.
Now,
did you know that?
I did not, but he knows me pretty well.
In a great way. No, it was just prayer hands. We tried to decipher it.
Well, he knows. It might come to him. I might be the one. I know Chase very well. She's been on After Dark many times. And thank you for promoting all my stuff, by the way.
Oh, well, I should have done it. I'm a terrible host.
I should have too. But
we just got rolling.
But he knows me very well. Dwight's in Taiwan right now. Actually.
Yes.
And we all communicate on WhatsApp like on a regular basis. This whole group, so it's just
wow.
Amazing
so we really bonded with all. These
my
folks.
God! It after like. It was insane, and we were bonded in misery, as they say.
As a Dodger fan, Mike Piazza, that's a big deal too.
Big deal.
Were you starstruck by any? You don't get starstruck anymore.
I don't get I could get starstruck,
by
who? but I'd have to. It's very like odd.
Was it got to be like a president or something?
President. To me, the key symptoms of the decay of COVID was the fact that my wife and I got deeply into 90 Day Fiance. So some of those...
That's hilarious.
Some of those I'd get starstruck by.
Well, that's so funny. I think about that too because I wonder, because people are like, through radio, you meet some people here and there. And people always ask that same question, like, has anyone given you like that sort of starstruck feeling? And you try to be professional. Even at your mom's house, that was like... one of the reasons Tom had me like do the things with the guests because he's like, oh, Josh doesn't care about like celebrities or anything like that. Right. But because of the way that media is now and like sort of this decay of it, the lesser celebrities that you find sort of a genuine attachment to, you become starstruck by.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Isn't that weird? Like
somebody that very many people, probably most people, don't even know who they are, you could get starstruck by.
And yet... What's your name again?
Kirsten.
From Kirsten's point of view, that probably makes sense because they're very focused on TikTok stars and things, and that changes every 5 minutes.
Right,
so
of course.
They get it.
Or reality stars or whatever. I mean, you look at certain people's Netflix algorithm and you're like, what the hell is this show? I've never even seen this before. You know what I mean?
And our mutual friend Nick Simmons is totally preoccupied with everybody at your mom's house.
Yes.
That's his starstruck.
No, I've noticed.
And when he was very starstruck when I told him I could get him involved with
That's
you.
That's insane because there's a guy that's met everybody and everybody.
I know.
And
there it is.
I'm like, me? I'm just a guy.
No, and he has all the lingo down.
Yes, of course.
Stuff that I, using the colloquialism there that I get lost in.
No, I remember you told you linked him up with me, and you're like, he wants to come to your show in Hollywood. I'm like, literally anyone can come to that show. I mean, it's in a cafe on Hollywood Boulevard. That's hilarious. Well, on this show, we have the Roach reporters out there scurrying about and finding all kinds of news they want us to cover.
All right.
So I have some articles here, and let's get into the news portion now. And first, I had an email here from a guy. He doesn't want to use his real name. His name's A. We'll call him A. And he had some advice, and it made me curious. I wanted to get your take on this because it involves this AI stuff.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think of that from a medical standpoint? Is this going to destroy us all, as like everyone says, or is it?
I don't think so. I really don't.
Do you find use in it?
My son's using it a lot. It's this language AI is a very small sliver of what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I know enough yet about what's coming to really have an opinion about it. I think the fact that we can use these language systems to refine summaries and things, I think it's good. It's just another instrument. It's a tool. I think when humans create tools, shit can go down.
Yeah.
Look at the printing press. Look at the internet. Look at social media. It has huge repercussions that, again, when I say like the printing press, that's how the Protestant Reformation happened, and that's how the religious wars happened.
Sure.
Really was at the core, it was the printing press. And so stuff happens, but ultimately humans sort of learn how to integrate it, and it becomes a net benefit. So I'm
this
assuming
guy's
will
trying
be
to
the
use
same.
it to get pussy. Let's see
Of
if
course.
this works
Of
here.
course.
It says, "Hey Josh,
Oh.
big fan. I've followed you since your YMH days, and I'm really happy for your success. I'm about 30 years old, pretty fat. Think Tom Segura in mostly stories, but with a bigger beard and not nearly as funny. I'm unemployed and comfortably coasting at the moment. I'm coming out of a depressive episode and got a significant inheritance, so I decided to celebrate. I've never hired an escort or a hooker before, so when I looked, I was shocked. Escorts are legal in Canada, and I live in a major city with multiple universities, so when I say there are endless choices, I'm only slightly exaggerating. After realizing what was in front of me, I furiously jerked it, and then, with a clear mind, I got to work sorting out who was going to get some mediocre dick. Holy fuck, there are a lot of options. Agency escorts, independent escorts, trashy hookers, whatever you're into, apparently. My city has it. I want a woman I can go down on. So I've decided to go to the sugar baby / sugar daddy route. Tons of ridiculously hot women who are ready to fuck, yada, yada, yada. I used ChatGPT to draft my offer, and this is what it made. Now, I didn't put the offer on here because it was like 10 pages long. This ChatGPT made the longest letter I've ever seen to a hooker.
Yeah, and so garbage in, garbage out. You have to ask it the right questions. You know
Well,
what
he
I mean?
gave it too many specifics.
That's right. I think the way to go in and now edit this down to one page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wondered if that was what this thing is doing the whole time, because I'm like, well, this thing's going to have no legs if it's
Right.
just pumping out horse shit like this.
Yeah, if you don't know how to use it, I agree with you. But here's what's interesting about this. Well, you guys are laughing already. We haven't gotten into this topic. But what's interesting to me about this is all those years, 35 years on Loveline, never heard about prostitutes. Young males going to prostitutes was not a topic.
Do you think it's resurgence now?
All the time.
Really?
It started, comedians started talking to me about it, and all of a sudden, like within a year, it's a lot.
Does it have to do with lockdowns?
I
don't know why, but I correlate everything to that.
I think
now.
it has to do with guys like this find out that world is there. They find out it's sort of there's legal, ways, in certain cities or something.
Sometimes it doesn't seem as seedy on the internet, probably.
And once they go, they keep going. And for a long time, what I was hearing was men feeling diminished. I'm toxic, I'm bad, I'm not worth it, women hate me. Then it became, I've got the porn and the women are tough and it's hard to have relationships. They start missing the opportunity to learn how to have relationships and how to date. And this would be the natural progression of that, which is now just I'm out, just going to prostitutes.
Do you think that men can now, like incels, let's say, can use ChatGPT to
they
learn how to talk to women?
ChatGPT. You raise your hand, Kristen?
No, I was just pointing because that's my first thought. Is like we just give it to the incels.
Incels should use ChatGPT to figure out how to talk to women.
So the good news is this may neutralize incels, right? This is the good news. Bad news is it's going to neutralize every other man too.
Oh, no.
And so do you guys? Am I speaking out of turn here? Is you guys a little older than who the group I'm hearing this from? But does that meet your? Do you have peers and things that?
Well, Alex has no problem getting laid. I don't.
No. I'm not saying necessarily them. I'm saying that this was a non-starter for all these years.
Well, I'll tell you with me specifically because I don't know my age group or whatever, and I know most of my friends have never had a prostitute. Tom bought me one in Amsterdam, and with the whole "Make Josh Come" quest. But that's not what I needed. Do you know? It actually was very much detrimental to even getting an erection. She was beautiful and everything. I caught her looking out the window at one point. Like, I know what she's there for. You know what I mean? It's like she's receiving money. She doesn't like me. I need them to like me. I want them to want to fuck me. That's the whole thing. That's literally it. I want them to go,
dude,
man, I want
for a lot.
Sorry. I want a girl to like me. Big fucking holy shit, right? But that's what I'm saying. Like, with that element missing, where it's just transactional.
Yeah.
There's something about it that just doesn't even get my dick hard. So that was the reason I never ventured into prostitutes, and even why I never really liked strip clubs. I liked strip clubs when I got to know the strippers. I've dated a few strippers, and that was fun. Because then I could go in and be like, oh, they're working this guy, and we're going to go take that dude's money home and buy weed or whatever. That was fun for me. That part was the best.
Okay.
But the fact that, like, if I just walk into a strip club and have money and they're dancing, I do not have any sort of interest in that.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's just me.
You're a sensitive type.
You're
special.
I guess, you know.
You're special.
But, you know, I mean, I understand the type of guy that can be like, well, there's a hole, and then he wants to just put his dick in it, and that's all that matters. This hole's on a nice
That'd be everybody except Josh.
Is it really?
No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Is it really
but
everybody?
No,
it
isn't. It actually isn't, and it's unfair to even say that. But what it is that when men become desperate, then sort of the chi goes somewhere.
So where did it turn at some point where they eventually said, you know what? I don't even want to have sex. Isn't that what incels are now? They're just like, fuck it, I'm not doing it ever.
No, they want to have sex. They're involuntary celibate.
Yeah, they're angry. They here's where it goes. The chi goes in, it comes out as anger.
Oh.
So no, there's no stopping male sexuality.
I see. So what do you think? This guy should send a letter like this?
With a prostitute, look what happens to priests when they try to stop male sexuality.
Oh, I see.
Well,
I don't.
I'm just saying, even when it's like the most consequential and the most committed, men still.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. I mean, maybe I'm missing a gear.
Well, young male.
I'm
talking about young male.
A young male. Yes, I am older now. But this man right here, he's using the chat GPT to just send an offer to a prostitute.
Hey, man,
look, just give him the money.
Yes, it's a lot easier than that, although he wants... No, he's not going to a prostitute. He wants a sugar, which is not technically...
It's a prostitute.
It's in that zone, but it's the sugar baby thing, and they are kind of discerning, I hear, in terms of they're demanding. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's part of the ruse, isn't it? To like put up the air of being demanding. I don't think they actually are.
Well, they do if you have enough money.
Yes,
you have money, that's it.
His only criteria is he just says he wants a woman he can go down on, which I feel like you don't like. Isn't that any?
Well, not a lot of prostitutes are gonna.
Oh.
Well, or I should say, you're not gonna want to go down on.
I think he wants the response for being down there too, as part of the pleasure.
Okay.
Which is something that I wouldn't have got. You know, like I said, the prostitute that Tom got me in the red light district of Amsterdam was, you know, there, but she wasn't, you know.
And let's be fair. On South Park, Cartman did this. Was it Cartman or was somebody else was doing it with his girlfriend because she was texting too much or something? So we just had ChatGPT take over.
Oh, was that recent? I didn't. I have not seen that.
Yeah,
Stan. Yeah.
That's
sounds like
hilarious.
a Cartman behavior, but it was Stan that was doing it, right?
Well,
he got burned out. He was like, okay, let's try this, and ChatGPT just
I
took
have
over.
heard of people
and
using
she loved it. She loved the responses from ChatGPT.
Well, that's the thing. I've heard of people using it to communicate with, like, you know, loved ones, and I think that's kind of a slippery slope.
Just watch South Park. As usual, they're clairvoyant and they're right.
It.
They get things ahead. I've never. This unreal. They grasp things. They get it. They get the excesses and the problems of it, and they predict where it's going, and they are never wrong. And they're way kinder than people give them credit for. You know what I mean? I mean, they're harsh, but at the end, they pay it out. I mean, if you ever want to see what I'm talking about, watch the Mormon episode.
Yes.
It's the classic thing. At the very end, they completely pay it out. Completely.
Yeah, there's always like some sort of moral...
That's really quite almost touching,
yes.
and the people they've been harshing on, they sort of give them a break in the moral, So people that take aim at South Park do so at their own peril. It seems to me.
Now, I know that you take up many problematic issues and things like that.
Let me talk about where I do it, because my wife will kill me
please,
if I don't
plug it.
So
we're gonna put in a thing in the.
My wife produced a show called Ask Dr. Drew. It's on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 3:00 Pacific. It's a streaming show, and on that show we have been interviewing all of the canceled and silenced people from COVID.
Wow.
It's been very interesting. So it's, Peter McCullough,
how do you keep it on the air?
And RFK Jr. It's doctors talking to doctors, and so I keep it, very reasonable. It's just, they say things I don't agree with. I disagree with them.
That doesn't mean that these platforms are reasonable.
Well, we have been canceled. We have been put in YouTube jail a number of times, and we call them and say, "Hey, take a listen."
Yeah.
Those are the algorithm. Their algorithm is picking up words. I'm not even going to say the words here because they'll get you too. But I may be being critical of those words and saying why I don't think those things are a good idea, whatever. So there's that. Dr. After Dark, which you have been on very kindly. That's over at your mom's house. And then Adam and I still have a podcast. You can see Adam and Drew. That's 3 days a week. And then I have a separate podcast that's much more clinical, science-based stuff. So just me talking to interesting people.
Well, this one kind of combines those two things, clinical and problematic. There's an issue that we take umbrage with here. That we are trying to raise awareness of, and that is semen terrorism. Have you come across this? Has this come across your desk?
Well, tell me a little more about it.
Well, in Japan, it became a thing where they were actually going to make it, one of the tiers of terrorism, because men were throwing their seed on women in subways. Men are putting that in food. Men are just,
This is where?
Non-consent in Japan is where they raised up the flag sort of to make laws about this.
And
that it's not
it's happening everywhere, though.
It is happening around the world. But they were trying to make it a sex crime as opposed to what it is currently, which is just a assault.
Wow.
So we're trying to raise more awareness so we can get it to be categorized as a sex crime here in America.
You want it to be a sex crime?
I think that would yield harsher penalties than just
what
a standard
is it,
assault.
Is it, I mean, are they doing their thing?
There are many forms. There is that form of it where they're doing it blatantly on a subway.
Okay, well, that's an attack. I think that's
right?
bad. Okay.
Also, they're doing it where they're putting it into people's, maybe a waiter.
One was at a Cold Stone.
One was at a Cold Stone.
So, just
and
right to the ice cream.
Yes.
I like the way she takes the little choppy things.
Yeah, she did a bit of a milking
Did you work
of a
at a
cow
Cold?
motion.
No.
But I've
they
been
have
there.
these choppy things that they use like this.
Oh, that's right. I haven't been to a Cold Stone in
Once
the
that
last
semen
2
hits
decades.
that cold block, you're going to have to break
You got to
up a
mash
bit.
it in like the cherries and all
blend
that.
it.
Yes,
How much do you
exactly.
have to tip for that?
Yes.
So what do these young men think they are doing?
Well, that's what we're trying to get our brain around, because we have to learn the problem before we can fix it. Correct, right? So,
and is it just people are psychotic doing weird shit, or
do they get off on the idea this person's ingesting my semen?
Yeah.
This person has my semen on their back. What do they? There's something there.
It feels like, generally speaking, it is a very angry behavior.
Yes.
Like I'm angry. And I'm throwing it's like when monkeys throw their shit at you.
Exactly.
Same exact thing.
There was a man in the produce section of a grocery store injecting with syringes his semen into the produce.
That just sounds psychotic, though. These people must have mental illness.
Well, we have an example here, and this one involves a UK doctor, and this was sent in from Declan Maloney over in the UK. There he is right there. No. Dr. Nicholas Chapman, 55, from Taunton, put the bodily fluid into a coffee he made for a woman back in September of 2021. Now, when these things happen, I always wonder, how do they find out about it?
That's what I'm saying.
Does the woman drink it and go, well, there's a hint of semen in here.
Is this possibly just apocryphal, as we say?
I'm curious. Chapman claimed the fluid could have been present due to a medical condition that causes him to ejaculate when going to the toilet. He was acquitted of a second count of the same offense on Thursday. Chapman was granted bail ahead of his sentencing, blah, blah, blah. During the trial, the court heard Chapman was accused of adding his semen to drinks he made the victim on several occasions. After becoming suspicious, the woman kept a sample of one of the drinks. When tested, the coffee was found to contain semen with DNA matching Chapman. He denied the charges, claiming he would routinely ejaculate when going to the toilet due to some medical condition. Now, have you heard of a medical condition?
Yeah.
That would?
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know what they would call it, but it does happen. The sort of the pressure on the prostate can release semen
When he's
sometimes.
shitting, then
when he's shitting, yeah.
Oh, not when he's just. It's not like
maybe
peeing where he gets like a swirly cone.
I mean, there is such a thing, but it's usually after ejaculating previously. So I don't know. And why would he have it with him? Does he get it on his hands?
He claims the fluid may have ended up in the drink as a result of him not washing his hands after going to the bathroom. The court.
So did he stir the coffee with his index finger or something, and the coffee was the semen with?
After the pandemic, this is such a failed.
Could you imagine the doctor? He had to go, I'd rather admit to not washing my hands. Yeah. Almost as bad a crime as jizzing into a coffee.
Yes. He's going back to see patients after shitting. Nice. But the bigger question is, how much volume?
Well, it says here, according to the statement, I feel betrayed by him, by his actions. He has made me feel powerless. The devious and cowardly nature has shocked me. If this was a physical attack, I may have at least had a chance to defend myself. I hope in the future I am able to put this all behind me and move on with my life. It doesn't say anything about the volume.
See, if it's like bare, like she sees a little fatty globule and like, what that
doctor,
is.
I asked for no cream in this.
Right, exactly.
I asked for a black coffee, and this is very milky.
Yes, not very. I'm wondering if there's just the tiniest little whatever there, as opposed to a half a teaspoon, in which case we got a problem here.
Now, could a load be undetectable by color? Like if you added it to it and say it's the viscosity of it is clear. It's very clear. You know, there's like milky
you would see it.
loads.
Yes.
It would change the.
Well, you wouldn't see it, but you could see the fat. It's the oil.
It would rise to the top.
Yes, you'd see the little droplets. Yeah.
Interesting. So she would drink. I mean, apparently this happened several times. So she would see it and be like, "Oh, all right," you know.
Wow. How in the world did she think to herself, "God, that must be semen there"?
That's the thing. At the end of the day, I don't know how these people, because this is not the first time we've had an incident like this where it got me wondering: is this person so well versed in the taste of semen that they just go, "This tastes like cum"? By the way, I have to ask you, this has been something perplexing me. I've been talking about it in my act a little bit. Eating foods to change the flavor of your cum. That's bullshit, right?
Pretty much.
Yes, I thought so.
It's really like, Adam and I used to get these calls all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, look, if you're eating whipped cream and strawberries all day, your shit's still going to taste like shit. You know what I mean? And what comes out of your body is not related to what goes in that way.
Yeah.
And now, though, there are people that claim, we actually, back in the poor man days, I think we actually did a blinded study. We had two couples, and one took it and one didn't. If I remember right, they couldn't tell who got the
right, because you had to do a placebo.
Then of course it goes, we didn't have enough pineapple. This is like,
I had a woman who we had a rendezvous set up for a Friday, let's say, and earlier in the week she goes, eat a lot of pineapple.
Yes.
Because, I can't, I have the delayed ejaculation, so oftentimes I have to pour a glass from the tap, if you will.
I like the way now the delayed ejaculation you have is just sort of like, I've got brown hair.
Yeah. It's just, what am I going to do? So I kind of did it I fed her it, if you will, or whatever, like.
After you'd been eating the pineapple.
Well, here's the thing.
You didn't, and she said,
and she goes, no.
Much
like,
better.
So good. I'm so glad you ate that pineapple. And
Yeah,
I was like, oh, the pineapple. I forgot all about it. And I said, I'm afraid that's just Red Bull and cigarettes in there, darling. And she thought it tasted great. So
you're just a lucky dude.
I guess I just have good tasting cum.
Yes, that's it.
And that's the thing. Some people have bad tasting cum, but you can't attribute it to something.
Anybody else getting a little queasy? Yes.
Alex is getting turned on.
You get used to it when you work around here, Dr. Drew.
I got queasy when you said viscosity.
Well, then fine. We'll move on to a much more horrifying story. I don't know if you heard about this. It says an email here. Hey, Josh, long time, first time. Got a doozy here about a Penn State professor getting caught banging his collie. Now, I didn't say colleague.
Oh my gosh.
I said collie, like the dog. That's what he got caught banging.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard about this guy?
No. How exactly did you get caught doing that?
Well, a Penn State University chemical engineering professor is accused of bestiality with his dog and acts caught on trail cameras. They have cameras on these trails now. You think you can go out in the woods and fuck your dog.
Wow.
Turns out you can't.
Oh, my goodness.
I've never heard of this name before. Themis Matsoukas, 64, was charged Tuesday in Huntingdon County, Pennsylvania with open lewdness, indecent exposure, sexual intercourse with an animal, cruelty to an animal, and disorderly conduct. Wow. He's been placed on leave by the university. Matsoukas was identified by rangers who said they linked him to a North Face backpack and a Subaru Outback present in some of the footage from Rothrock State Forest.
Woo!
Authorities said they determined that the collie in the clips from April and May was the same pet, investigators found. They also said they found that the backpack and iPad shown in the trail cam pictures. He had an iPad out? Was he filming it?
Oh.
He's just got it. We got to turn on some porn here on the old iPad so I can fuck my dog.
So we had a very famous Loveline call about this.
Really?
Yeah. And was it James? I get the guy's name. But he called in and he goes, look, you guys, me and Adam, are supposedly these open-minded, non-judgmental. So I want to understand why people freak out when they find out about my monogamous relationship with okay.
I don't cheat on my animal.
Yeah. Well, it turned out he was having sex with this Akita Collie mix. Interestingly, I wonder if there's something.
Is that the hottest dog? You think?
Or maybe the most cooperative with this, or something. But so it was Akita Collie mix, and he was quite serious about it. He sent me on some websites. I learned about zoophilia and things. There's a whole thing out there.
Yes. Zoophilia.
Zoophilia, and the women, our call screeners and producer, freaked out. They were so angry. This guy needs to be taken away. He's a criminal, blah, blah, blah. And we were like, well, we're just sort of intrigued, and we don't know who he is. We don't know where he is, And he was a part of a whole world where this goes on, a connected world. And finally, after we kept him on the air for like an hour or so because we were just sort of intrigued by this whole thing. Like, what is this? And we didn't really believe that, that this is a thing. Okay, we were taught something. Who we cannot judge.
Sure.
Should have asked him his pronouns. But but
arf and bark.
But to make a long story short, after the repeated cycles of the women coming in and berating him, Adam goes, "Hey, just wait a minute." He goes, "Look, just stand back for a second. Consider this: the way we treat animals and dogs in particular. Would you rather be pulling a sled in the Iditarod, or would you rather be this guy's mate? Which would you rather be?"
It's also, I would imagine. I wonder if those women would be upset if it was an animal that wasn't a dog. Say, like a bit of an uglier or less cuddly, less domesticated animal.
Yeah, interesting.
Like if it was a horse, would they get so up in arms, or would they just be like, "This guy's kind of a freak"?
Interesting. Or a goat.
Or a goat, or a sheep, or what have you. Things, age. What am I trying to say here? Tale as old as time. When some lonely farmer fucks a sheep. I mean, that's been going on since people made fire. Yeah, probably.
God, men are just awful. That's the name of this show. That should be the name of this show. Males are really not a good form of the human being. Kristen's like, hell yeah.
Listen to this guy's statement here. He goes, "I'm done. I'm dead. You don't understand. I do it to blow off steam," he told the Rangers in the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation. He begged the Rangers to shoot him right on the spot in the forest. They're like, "We don't have guns, sir." Cameras caught Matsoukas being used to find out where he was stealing hand sanitizer at the state park. Oh, he was also stealing hand sanitizer, evidently.
No, that's what they were trying to. That's why the cameras were up.
Someone was stealing precious hand sanitizer.
No.
Wow.
Oh, it's as good as gold in the state park. We have hand sanitizer stations in the woods.
Apparently.
That's fucking stupid. Oh my god, that's even more of a crime than fucking a dog. I think we're sanitizing our hands in the trails. Come on. I mean, how much do we have to do here? But that is interesting that you found
COVID insanity.
That right there is 100% COVID insanity, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of the name of the comedian. Not super nice guy. I know him very well, and I can't remember his name now. That was a Canadian park ranger, long before he became a comedian.
Not John Heffron. No, he was a.
You guys look it up. You'll find it. You'll find it in a second.
Jason McKinley used to be a cop.
Park ranger, comedian.
Harlan.
Harlan Williams
was
a park ranger?
Yeah.
Jesus, I didn't know that. I wonder if he ever caught anybody
park
with
ranger vibes, though.
Walking a dog on a trail back in the day.
Park ranger vibes.
He does have that, yeah.
You got to get him in here and talk about what it would be like to track down this guy and why they had such energy about it.
Well, they mounted cameras because they were worried about these hand sanitizer bandits. Then they're like, oh my Lord, imagine if they had cameras up the whole time, what they could have caught.
Maybe they'll leave them up now after this experience.
Yeah, they're like, who knows how many people are fucking dogs on these trails. So Nora wrote in, she says, hey, Josh and team. First time Roach reporter here, long time listener. You probably already received this, but I saw it on Instagram, and it reminded me of another story I think you discussed on your show about a chick who worked at a funeral home and trafficked human remains.
Ooh.
Have you heard about these people selling human remains from funeral homes and things like this in the recession that we are in right now?
I'm not surprised.
It's been going like crazy, and here's where they get caught. The last one got caught via PayPal because they were leaving notes in PayPal.
Oh.
Or Venmo or what have you. I think that's the case with this one.
So it was identified as kidney.
Yeah. It's like, here's the human brain.
And what are they
for
doing?
the human brain payment?
What are they doing with this? Like the Middle Ages.
Well,
they're
they're
dig
selling
up bodies and vivisect.
Yes. In one case, they were selling it to a man who was just a bit of a collector. And he just had, he was a weirdo. He had tattoos and he had like an ashtray that was a skull. Very like, Dahmer. Or not Dahmer, but what's the other one? Hannibal Lecter-esque almost.
Meth.
But this one, in this case, most people, just meth. Most people who use social payment platforms know better than to put things like so much drugs or sex last night in the memo section of their transaction.
Wow.
Or else they get their accounts banned, or worse.
Wow.
The people buying and selling body parts from a Harvard medical school morgue learned that lesson with their payment app memos showed up in a federal indictment. On Wednesday, the federal grand jury indicted 5 people, and their charges of conspiracy, blah, blah, blah. I want to know what they wrote in these memos, though. Did they just put the emojis, like arm or like...
Wait. It almost says it down there if you keep going.
Yes, no, of course. I'm going to get to that part of the article here. Oh, one of the transactions for $1,000 came in with the memo. Head number 7.
Yes, there it is.
Another just said, brains. There was a lot of money. The money totaled
heads, faces,
$33,000.
Sold parts, heads, brains, faces, and skin.
Yes. For her to sell to other buyers or in her oddity shop. That's the other thing. These people who have oddity shops are like, I've got a brain in a jar. And you always go into these things and you think like
where'd you get that?
Yeah. Or is that, you go, oh, that's cute that they made like a fake brain in a jar.
Yeah.
And then you find out it's just a real one. Like, can't they just put a chicken's brain in there and tell us? Like the olden days.
Yeah.
You ever go to these shops in Burbank that are like Halloween stores?
Yeah. Not about Burbank, but I'm sure I've been to a Halloween store.
Burbank's very Halloween towny.
Really?
Yeah. When I moved out there, or when I was looking at apartments, the landlord gave me like a tour of it and was like, "Oh, it's Halloween's really big in Burbank." So I thought that was like a thing.
Yeah.
But I went to a couple of these stores and they have like, kitschy little things where it's like for little kids to look at. But now it's got me wondering. You know what I mean? I want to.
Well, you mean it's sort of one of these curiosity stores where they also have like stuffed animals and things like that?
Yeah, they've got like, they're like, ooh, and they got like a Scream mask or whatever. It's just like there's little haunted museum type stuff, So now it makes you wonder, though, how many of this shit's real? But you dealt with cadavers and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And did you ever notice anybody getting too into it?
No.
Not sexually, but just like, oh my God, like playing in the guts or whatever. No?
Mm-mm.
I would always wonder if someone was a little too enthusiastic.
Yeah, we were sort of too busy trying to learn every fucking inch of the body.
Well, what do you have to do with those?
You get a body at the beginning of the year, and you start a dissection, going over like every tiny little inch of the body, so every nerve, every artery, every vein. We started on the scapula, as I remember. Started in the back, this over in the back.
Oh, okay.
And then we worked our way down the back, and then we went down. As I remember, we went down the arms. Yes, and then it was odd because we never looked at the face was covered and the hands and feet were covered with like a cheesecloth, and we never saw the face of our body till way down the line. And the oddest thing is when I'd forgotten about this many years ago. When you pulled the cheesecloths off the hand, as we worked our way down the arm, we finally got to the hand. And these took months to do this, months and months and months of dissecting. And it was like, it was like a human hand. It was shocking to see. Because on the back, you're
Right.
just this sort of, you're looking at stuff, and the arms it's all very, highly preserved and stuff too, so it doesn't look superhuman.
Right.
But when you got to the hand, I was like, oh shit.
That woke you up to the
Yeah,
fact
it's like,
that it's a human.
and then we thought, oh man, we're gonna have to turn this guy over in a few weeks and look at his face.
Oh wow.
And then dissect his face, like every inch of it.
Wow.
And so you got over it by then.
Do you ever
You
go to
got
that?
really over it.
What was the thing they had in museums over here that was like a touring thing where they had the bodies?
Yeah.
Did you go check
Body
that out?
Works. Yeah.
Body Works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't that like Chinese
German.
political
No, it's a German.
prisoners?
Not that I know of. It was some German dude that did the whole thing.
What museum were you at?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, you're right, Josh. the one of the earlier versions of that was political prisoners
From China.
From China, yeah.
That opted out of prison, being in prison to go donate.
Well, they didn't opt in or out of anything.
They
once
were
those bodies
they
were
just
there,
used their bodies for it. They got
I
them
see.
cheap on the old black market.
They weren't political prisoners. They were political,
Well, they were at one point.
I guess.
yeah, when they still were alive. But that's
Wow.
what I thought was interesting. Because then I go like, well, now
We need more of that here, don't you think?
more.
Like,
I think we're on our way.
that's what it feels like. That's what I'm saying. That's
Well,
the
Dr.
problem.
Drew, I appreciate you coming into the show.
Oh my
today.
God, is it already over? We're just getting started.
I know, right? It goes by so quick.
One more
1
letter.
hour.
Aren't
One
there
more
more
thing? You
letters?
want to hear
Yeah.
one more?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
we got another one in here. Let's see here. Oh, I got one for you.
They're trying to
Now,
get your
this is-
attention on this one, no?
What is this
You
one?
trying to get attention
Oh
on
no,
that?
I'm just scrolling.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I got this one because I thought this is a disease in and of itself.
Okay.
There is a woman on TikTok. We were talking about TikToks. This comes in from T-Bone. A 20-year-old Iowa woman who lied online about battling pancreatic cancer and having a tumor the size of a football to bilk donors out of $37,000
Wow.
has finally fessed up to the scheme. Isn't this something like faking a disease like that? Isn't that like a disease in of itself?
Yeah, that's sort of a. It's actually called Briquette syndrome. People think of it as Munchausen's. Munchausen's is technically going for operations. Briquette's is more, having fantasies of medical stuff. But they've sort of all been sort of filtered down to just somatoform disorder of various types.
Well, I was thinking if people get mad that she bilked donors out of $37,000, she could be like, "I'm sick with this disease
She
now."
could, but I doubt this is that. This is like somebody making money.
A
This
grift.
is- yeah.
Well, it's an Iowa woman, so Kirsten, maybe you know this person.
Always
Russo
make me proud.
Russo had initially pleaded not guilty to the theft charge stemming from her elaborate con as a part of when she pocketed donations from more than 439 unsuspecting well-wishers. The then 19-year-old Iowa woman was arrested in late January after police said she faked having stage 2 pancreatic cancer, acute lymphoblastic leukemia,
Both?
and
That's
a tumor. Both?
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
That's probably where she got caught, eh?
Yeah.
Because, can you not have both?
I
or-
mean, you lightning and then an asteroid. It's like,
The description of her now defunct online campaign stated that her cancer diagnosis had been very hard on Maddie's family. Just like with any cancer diagnosis, the cost of medical bills, gas, meals, and expense can be a burden. If you are able to, donations would be greatly appreciated to help cover medical expenses to allow Maddie to focus on one thing only, which is to show that she is stronger than cancer and will beat this.
wow.
Let's see how she got caught. I remember hanging up the phone and I was a mess. She told the Iowa news outlet. This is after she was reportedly diagnosed with it because it made the news. Iowa, they don't got a lot going on. So they're like, oh my God, 2 cancers.
Somebody has cancer.
Yeah. She said she gave her 11% survival rate for 5 years. That's what doctors said. That's what she said.
That's a
doctors gave her.
pancreatic cancer.
11% survival. So
Yeah.
she probably Googled that or something, you think?
Well, pancreatic cancer used to be like 10% at 6 months, but we're doing a lot better with it these days.
Oh.
So believe it or not, 11% of 5 years is an improvement.
Her lies finally caught up with her in mid-January when witnesses claiming to be medics contacted the police saying they noticed many medical discrepancies in Russo's social
Such
media
as the
posts.
lymphoblastic leukemia.
Court documents cited by the station KWQC allege that the witnesses were said to have observed terrible life-threatening inaccuracies of her medical equipment placement on her body.
Oh, interesting.
What would that be?
Maybe the ports or something.
Oh,
Shit,
I
some
see.
Weird,
She was just like, she's putting it in wrong spot.
Yeah.
One TikTok user posted a photo of Russo smiling while hooked up to a gastronomy tube? Is that the right word?
A feeding tube, essentially. Right?
Oh, okay.
So
And
it's a
pointed out
gastric feeding
that
tube.
it was too far up her nose.
Oh, from an NG tube, nasogastric tube.
Okay. And her chest port appeared to have been wrongly applied as well. In the course of police investigation, detectives learned that Russo had stolen photos shared online by real cancer patients and passed them off as her own to bolster the bogus claims.
There you go.
A search of her home turned up a trove of evidence, including an IV pole with a feeding pump filled with cotton swabs, a wig, and anti-nausea medication prescribed to a relative's name. Russo's medical records obtained by police revealed that she had never been diagnosed with any form of cancer.
There you go. It's disgusting.
That's what
I don't like
they
that.
want TikTok fame. You didn't like that one?
No, we got the sanitizer scandal. That's bad enough.
The sanitizer scandal was something that really fucking shocked me there. I can't believe they're still... Can you believe that there's still... I had a guest cancel because she said she had COVID. Can you believe that today? It's over. The president said it's over.
Pussy. Who was it?
It was Chase.
It was Chase.
Chase did not have COVID.
She got it in Ireland.
She just didn't want to stay away from you guys.
I guess. I mean, that's.
I'm
I go,
gonna
you
call
could have
Chase.
just
She
said you
okay?
didn't want to come.
Yeah, right. Is she okay? Everything good?
Ah, she's fine.
yeah.
She didn't really have. No, I'm just kidding.
Where did she get it? In an island? Is
No,
that
in
what you said?
Ireland.
In Ireland.
They might still have it there. Their president might not have come out and said it's over.
It's still around, everybody.
May 11th.
XXB.1.15.
Do you know? Is this possible? I don't think I ever got it.
Me either.
Yeah, it's possible, but you probably had some mild something.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I remember.
Second time I got it, I didn't know I had it.
Do you remember our incident? We did a show when you got it.
Yes, I didn't remember you were there. It was with Bert. Right?
We did you taped 2 that day, and I was there, producing with Bert's show, and then I was the guest on the second taping.
Okay, I don't remember that. I remember Bert because Bert said something. So I was the fill-in for Tom on Two Bears One Cave.
Yes, that's what it was. And then we did one of yours.
And Bert said at one point, he goes, "You could spit in my mouth. I trust you so much." I thought, good thing we didn't do that, Bert.
Yeah.
Because the next day I had COVID bad. I had Delta or whatever.
Right, that was
Alpha.
when you got it like the hardest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was there.
And by the way, somebody like Zola or somebody had something.
I think.
Any just days before, and I all wondered if that, because I couldn't figure out where I got it from.
Right.
Frankly.
But I didn't get. Me and Nadav were the only ones in the studio that didn't get it through the whole, initial
outbreak,
whatever. Yeah. And I haven't felt sick since before COVID. Honestly, like
that was the one you didn't want. That was a nasty one.
Yeah. Okay. I smoke cigarettes. Do you think it has to do with that? Remember they said that?
There was some evidence of that. At one point.
I smoke them. So
good
could
job.
be something like that.
Well done.
Well, now my YouTube channel is over because I spreaded that information. But
they're gonna put you in jail.
It's all, if it's coming out of this guy's mouth, it's nonsense, folks. All right. But I appreciate you coming in this show. Tell everyone again where they can
so
find
fun.
all the different shows.
It's really it's drdrew.com for the podcast and drdrew.tv to get alerts on the streaming show, and you can find the library at drdrew.tv and drdrew.com. A lot of interesting people I interviewed. A lot of information. I've learned a lot talking to these guys. I just instinctively now, when somebody is told they're wrong and they get ganged up on and canceled and stuff, I immediately want to talk to them. That's
and
my
see
instinct.
what the deal is at the very least.
It is never what the person has said.
Of course.
It's always what somebody said they said that gets the viral whatever. And usually and for whatever reason, particularly when the government gets involved and the social media giants get involved, usually it's a really substantial person with a huge pedigree and career behind them who have some interesting thoughts or saw some interesting things. Like, for instance, I interviewed a guy named Paul Alexander was in the room at the White House when they were trying to figure out what to do, and they were working on the social distancing issue. That is a term that was essentially made up, by the way. That's not something in medical textbooks.
Well, sure.
Made up just prior to this pandemic. In terms of how far to go be a part on this social distancing thing, first of all, no evidence. Nobody has any idea. They were trying to decide between 3 feet and 60 feet, and they finally went, they'll do 6 feet. Let's just do 6 feet.
Well, 60 feet would be like impossible in New York.
It has no evidence. The virus goes 30 feet. It's aerosolized. Yeah. 6 feet does nothing.
Right.
And there's zero evidence that it ever did anything. And that they're saying 6 feet saved lives. Still to this day. It's unbelievable.
It is. It's almost like old hack government jargon, like where it's like say no to drugs.
No, it's really like the diet pyramid and stuff.
Right.
Goofy
where it's exactly.
Yeah.
Some antiquated nonsense.
It
hasn't been that long, but it seems like very ancient now.
No, whatever when there's bureaucracies involved, there's inaccuracies and there's bad consequences in humans.
Yeah. We're trying to get out of it ourselves here, mentally.
When's
There
Chase
is.
coming in?
Well, now we don't know.
Oh,
No, she'll be in here in a couple weeks. or so.
they've shortened the.
Well, yeah, she did a show. That's why I was like, Chase, you got a show on Wednesday.
What'd she say? You know what you need to do? You know what I've done with her?
I didn't ask her about it. To
You
be
should.
honest,
This
but
would
I
be
just
fun
thought
if
it
you
was
did this
funny.
with her. The musicals she does, those little
I love them,
musical
yeah.
short. Do you see the one I did?
I did.
It's
Yes.
so fun.
It's so fun. I love
We're
those
gonna do
that
some
she
more. We're bug her to get.
She's
me
a
to-
guest of the year. She's an award-winning Hall of Famer. She can come and go as she pleases.
Oh my
So-
goodness!
We actually changed the award to be named after her.
Yes, it's now called the Chase.
Wow,
O'Donnell.
what did she do here exactly?
Well,
She's just herself.
She's just being Chase.
She's just wonderful. Well,
Yes.
go do the musical stuff with her. It's
I
really
would love
fun to
to.
watch her do that.
No, but we'll get her back in real quickly.
Okay.
But thank you. Plug all of the things.
It's
that
in.
you
I
need.
did
Got
it.
'em all?
All done.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you know. At Josh_Potter on Instagram. Go there, buy tickets to shows coming up in the fall and in the winter. We have Pottstown, PA. We got Tampa Bay. We got La Jolla. And some more are about to be added. So go there and check it all out. And make sure you continue to rate, review, and subscribe to this program right here. I appreciate it every single time. And it doesn't take much to do, whether you're listening on audio or if you're on YouTube or whatever. Make sure you're getting subscribed. And I love you very much. We'll see you next week right here on the Josh Potter Show.
I need a break in between. Got so many lined up, I had to make a queue. Check your tickets now, I'm serving number 32. I am not a Flintstone, I don't make the bedrock. That's been said so much, I wanna put it in a headlock. That is so played out, so it's not what I'ma do. But when I shove it in, they do scream, yabba dabba doo.
Better big booty, better big booty.